It was the early morning for Logan as he watched the sun slowly begin to rise. The children were already supposed to be up and at him. Training day was starting now. It was the only way to get them on track and to get them where they needed to be. Because their lives had now changed forever and they were embarking on a new journey. A journey of growth, discipline, and self-discovery in many ways. One by one, they all began to file out, everyone in a gray t-shirt, black shorts, and various forms of sneakers. It was easy to see that some were more of morning people than others. For example, Tomo and June seemed to have no issue getting up early in the morning, rearing to go. Logan was able to pick up on some of these cues. Some of the children were more adept, athletic. It'd be pretty easy to get them at a certain level, but there were others who were, for lack of a better term, not in the right condition, and thus they were going to need a little extra care. The professor watched out of the window as Logan would begin his instruction. All right, up and at 'em. Quiet. Now, this is where the fun starts. You've all undergone a change, but I don't need to tell you that. You are going to enter into a new world. A world far different from the one you used to live in. What I want to teach you all is control. Control is the most important thing. It's the most important word that I'm ever going to say to you. Not just control over your power, control over your emotion, control over your body. Often people forget that control and they lack it. And as such, that is when the bad things happen. Think fast. Logan was holding an orange and he threw it right at Nato. Nagatoro gasped as the boy got beamed right in the head with an orange. Ow! Why did you do that? Nagatoro asked Logan as she went to go check on her senpai. Because he needs to be prepared at all times. As a matter of fact, I want each of you to take an orange. Everyone was a bit surprised as Logan held up the bag of oranges. Did I stutter? I said take an orange. One by one, everyone took their respective oranges. June was getting ready to eat it, but Logan stopped them. These are not eating oranges. They're not? No, they're throwing oranges. You're all going to throw them at Naito. Huh? What? Including you, Nagatoro. Pick up an orange. Now, you're not all going to... Before they even had a chance, they all started throwing the oranges right at Naito. And safe to say, he got hit with each and every last single one of them. Do you kids not know how to listen? Pick up the damn oranges. You're not supposed to hit them all at once. You're supposed to hit them throughout the day. Huh? Exactly. Your power allows you to phase through objects and to let objects phase through you. That's why the first step is for you to not be hit by these oranges. That's why at random points throughout the day, I want people to take aim and hit Naito as hard as you can with an orange. They're one of the more appealing type of fruits. They're quite hard, but not so much. I mean, it's definitely going to sting, but oranges don't leave bruises. It won't kill you, at least I hope it doesn't. But still, when it comes to control, you all need to learn how to control and use your powers, to use them wisely and when not to use them. The whole point of learning control is that you have to realize what you have become. It's more so than just having a weapon. In a way, all of you have become weapons. Naito. Oh, yes, sir. Your power allows you to phase through objects, but not just objects. It allows you to phase through people. Tell me something. How would you feel if your hand got placed in someone's skull and then you accidentally reactivated your powers? What? That's right. Your hand would literally be stuck in someone's skull. You'd probably kill them, definitely. Your arm would probably have to be cut off because, well, you faced your hand in someone's head. That's the delicacy. That is the trick. Everything that you think is mundane, everything that you used to take for granted, all of that can change in a moment. Nagatoro, what happens if you accidentally freak out thinking about some other place? And let's say you're holding on to someone. You end up teleporting to some entirely different location, and God forbid you lose hold of the person that you were holding in that moment. If you can't think fast enough, who knows what happens next? And it goes on and on and on. You lose control of your power, you might hurt yourself. Or more importantly, you end up hurting others. You end up hurting people who are important to you. Now, trying to reverse what's been done, that's what we're working towards. Trying to reverse death, that's something that a lot of mutants can't even do. So keep that in mind every moment of your life. For now, until things change, you don't just consider your own lives, you consider the lives of everyone around you. It doesn't matter if you're in an open field or if you're in a crowded mall. You take that into consideration because you never know what situation you might be in. A situation where a split choice has to be made and lives could potentially be lost because of it. With the introduction out of the way, he commanded them to do 10 laps around the mansion. As said before, for some of them, it was easier than others. Junichi found himself struggling from behind, primarily because of the wings that were on his back. Not really much that he could do about it. Walking, they weren't really all that heavy, a little cumbersome, but when you had to run, eventually that weight started to catch up with you. Thankfully, Yukana would still stay in the back with them, trying to encourage him to jog along. Come on, Junichi, you can do it. I know you can. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Yukana, oh God, get a move on, Junichi. Logan yelled out to the boy. Yes, sir. I'm trying my best. Oh. Junichi wouldn't be the only one. Akari found herself trying to pull Jiro along. Hori doing the same for Miyamura. Miyamura wasn't really one to work out, primarily because of the tattoos that were on his arm. He always opted to not try to get them shown, but at the same time, it meant that he skimped out on a lot of exercise work, which meant that more often than not, he was, well, for a lack of a better term, kind of lazy. Hori was the one trying to kick him into high gear to try to get him to be a little more active. Come on, Miyamura! I know you can do better than this. I'm not used to what? This is what you get for skipping gym class all the time. I mean, seriously, you were so worried about everyone seeing those damn tattoos. Come on, you know they're not socially acceptable. Then who just gets tattoos in the spur of the moment? I couldn't help it. I did it on impulse. The same way you just impulsively gave yourself piercings? I mean, 1 or 2 I could have understand. But Miyamura, you literally pierced your ears 5 times on both ears. And your lip. How'd you even do that? Safety pin. Oh, God. Naito found himself running for his life as Nagatoro was chasing after him. Come on, senpai. You and I have already been exercising for months before this. I thought you were getting better. Oh, God. Another orange. Oh. Come on, pick it up. Logan couldn't help but be mildly surprised. It seemed like the girls were outpacing the boys. Damn, were they really that lazy? It didn't matter now. After the run was over and they were given a brief moment of rest, now it was time to move on to the next stage, and that was to gauge just how far could they control their powers. What exactly were they all capable of doing? One by one, he'd have to go through the list of them to see what they were capable of. First up, Junichiro, or June for short. He had beast powers, which effectively just made him faster, stronger, keen instincts, more of a beast. And, to his pleasure, both June as well as Tomo, they were skilled in martial arts, well, at least when it came to karate. Logan decided that he'd give both of them a good spar first, starting with June. Mr. Logan, that was just intense. Yeah, you're fighting on a completely different level now. You're far stronger than the average human. That's why you've got to be even more careful. You try to go in for a regular handshake or a bear hug, you might end up breaking bones. You've got to learn how to dial back that strength and when to increase it. Logan would throw a series of punches and strikes towards June. June was effective on defense, but he was still holding back. He could feel the pressure of Logan's punches as they connected with his forearms. Back when he was sparring with Tomo's dad, it was always difficult for him to try to match him. After all, Tomo's father ran a dojo, and it was only because of his efforts that he was even able to date Tomo in the first place. He just barely got the old man to touch the ground, but that was just barely. But now, ever since he got these powers, it felt like it was night and day. He remembered that fight with Tomo's dad, and remembering the power that he had, it felt like nothing now. If they were to have a rematch, he'd probably mop the floor with him in just a few moves, maybe even one. But maybe that was the point. The fact was, June had always been skilled in martial arts, but he knew that there were levels to it. Up until recently, there were people who were just stronger than him, that it took a lot of skill for him just to try to close the gap. But now, the shoe was on the other foot. Now, he finally understood. He understood why Tomo's father had really been holding back against him for so long. If that man truly wanted to go all out, he could have shattered him at any point. But now, the shoe was on the other foot, so to speak. Now June had to be the one to show that level of restraint when dealing with other people. Because if he tried to fight them the way he normally did, there's no telling how many bodies he'd leave in his wake. As for Tomo, she was using her metallic skin. Turning it on and off was kind of easy enough. Still though, she could stand to get stronger. Her punches were definitely landing, and bones were even starting to break. But Logan's healing factor kept him in the game effectively enough, and eventually he got Tomo onto the ground as well. Wow, sir, you're really strong. I could say the same to you, kid. I've never met someone so young that's been able to keep up with me for even that long. That long? I only lasted 2 minutes. 2 minutes more than even the most well-trained soldier. It's obvious that you and June have a lot of experience when it comes to combat and fighting. Well, yeah, my dad's run a dojo ever since we were kids. We've always been into martial arts. I see. Well, that's why I want you two to help me out in that area. It's obvious to have everyone here. You two arguably have the most experience when it comes to fighting. As such, I want you guys to help me out in that department, to try to get everyone else up to snuff. We're not the only ones. Yeah, that Nagatoro girl, June would say. She's really good at judo. Is she now? She might not strike it based on her size, but the girl's really got her stuff down. Yeah, but judo and karate are two entirely different things, June would say. Different martial arts, different results. Then maybe we'll have to get her on board. But in either way, I'll be depending on both of you when it comes to this aspect of the training. The two of them would bow respectfully to Logan, as they were now being entrusted to help with the training of the group, which for them was exciting because there were a lot of people here with potential, a lot of powerful potential. And who knows, maybe once they got mastery of this power down, they could really have some interesting fights, really go all out and see who was the best. Speaking of Nagatoro, she was practicing with her teleportation. She was really getting into zone, especially based off of a girl that liked to read manga, shonen mangas. She felt like she was the real life interpretation of one of her favorite characters. Look at me, senpai. I'm over here. No, I'm over here. No, I'm over here now. Finally, my time has come. I'm going to be just like my idol, the fourth Hokage himself, Minato Namikaze. I will be the Yellow Flash Nagatoro. But Nagatoro, Minato used the Flying Raijin Jutsu, and even then, he was only able to use it to teleport from wherever he placed a marker. You don't actually place markers, you just teleport yourself. If I had to be a little more logical, I would say you're kind of more like Shishui in the— Ow! 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 Nagatoro threw 3 oranges at him. I said I'm the Yellow Flash, damn it! But Ow! Ow! Ooh, wait, hold up. Hey, that one didn't hit me. It didn't hit me. Hey, Mr. Logan, I didn't get hit. Oh! Turning around, he ended up getting hit in the head by someone else. It was Akari. Did I do it right? Did I get him? You gotta protect yourself at all times, Naruto. Protect yourself at all times. Logan then set his next sights on Misaki. Usui was trying to help her out, but the girl was very hesitant about getting involved in all of this. Sir, I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do. I mean, my power is what? I make people pass out every time I touch them with skin-to-skin contact? No, it's not that at all. Your power comes in absorption. When you focus on it, you can absorb anything from a person, whether it be their memories, their powers, their traits, other talents, things of that nature. Oh, I get it, Usui said. So she's basically just a copier. She can steal anything she can touch from a person. I think that's awesome. There's nothing awesome about it. It feels wrong, dirty. I mean, how can I just steal the talents of people if I've never even worked to try to achieve them? That's not how I roll. Huh? You know, I always believe in working hard for anything you want. I can't just take talent from someone else. That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be fair, and it's a part of your power, Usui said. It's not a judgment of your character. It's just how it works. And no one says you have to use it on just anyone. You just have to use it when you need to. I know. I'll be right back. About 10 minutes later, Usui came back with 2 violins. Taking one up, he reached out his hand towards her. Search through my mind. Focus on my violin skills. And then we'll see if you can match me. What? But Usui, aren't you a— Hey, I've always wanted to be able to play the violin with my favorite girl. Now I actually have the opportunity to. And we can cut down on the time it would take for me to teach you. And Usui ended up getting kicked in the leg. Oh, so what? You don't have the patience to teach me? I think you misunderstand. I have more than enough patience, but I'm just trying to expedite the process. Fine. Be careful. I wouldn't go full on grabbing. Oh, crap, Logan said. The girl grabbed hold of Usui's wrist and the boy started to shake and convulse. Usui, are you okay? Wait a second. I was trying to picture myself going through your mind and She put a finger on his forehead. That's what you were thinking about? I couldn't help myself. What was he thinking about? You know what? I don't want to know, Logan said. Look, if you guys are going to make progress, you try searching through his memories. No, not those type of memories. Try to find the talent gene or something. I don't know how Rogue ever pulled that off. And as for you, Usui, it looks like you've got Gambit's powers. The powers of the famed Gambit. What exactly is that? You can convert any stored potential energy inside of non-inanimate objects and convert it into light, explosive, kinetic energy. Logan would then tell him to pick up the orange once again. I want you to feel the potential energy inside of that thing. Then convert it and throw it. Usui took some time to focus. After all, the boy was of many talents, so taking time for meditation was something right up his alley. Slowly, the orange would begin to change and begin to glow until it seemed like he was holding a ball of energy. Oh, wow. Is this? Now throw it. Throw it where? Wait, do I throw it at Naito? Wait, no, don't throw it at Naito! Before he knew anything, the ball was thrown. It was heading straight for Naito. Naito, who was still trying to use his phasing powers. They had set up a stack of foam rubber mats, and he was taking his time running through the mats each and every single time to try to phase through the whole mats and get out on the other side, although it was a lot easier said than done. As he stood back up once again getting ready to run, he was thinking to himself, this is like permutation. It's kind of like that ability I read in that manga. That masked guy. How was he able to do it? Just focusing on a body part and... Naito, duck! What? Naito turned around to find that the glowing sphere was heading directly to his face. It phased right through him, moving past and landing across the yard before blowing up. Guys, what was that? Some type of ball of light or... Oh my god. The ball of light formed a decently sized crater about 30 feet behind him. Oh my god. That... Naito looked up to the rest. That thing could have... And then I could have... And then my head... Oh... Nagatoro would quickly reappear to catch her senpai as he fainted from the shock of it all. Senpai? Senpai? I'm gonna take him inside. I think he's done for the day. Yeah. Hey, everyone, for the rest of the day, no more throwing oranges at Naito. We'll pick back up tomorrow. The next one that Logan wanted to help out was Akari and Jiro. They had weather-based powers, if you will. Jiro with the powers of Iceman and Akari with the powers of Storm. For Akari, trying to focus and manipulate the clouds in the sky was a lot easier said than done. It was trying to find that sensation, that feeling. The last time she remembered using her powers was when she was in a panic state, desperate for someone to help her make sense of everything that was happening. So far, the best that she could do was make the clouds just faintly drift from left to right, and she thought she was getting it. Did you see that, Jiro? Did you see that? I made that cloud go from here to here. Hey, that's really impressive, Akari. I'm happy for you. I know. Pretty soon, I'm going to be making it rain. Make it rain, 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 and make it rain, and make... Little did she realize that the more she waved her arms and the more she swayed, while it was getting her into the zone of things, it caused more and more clouds to start gathering together, and they started to get a little bit bigger, a little bit darker, as Akari kept doing her famed rain dance, before suddenly there was a single cloud forming over her, and it began to rain. Well, the rain started messing up her makeup, messing up her hair, and her entire day was now ruined. Jiro, I rained on myself. Oh, this is awful. In that moment, the clouds started to thunder. Akari, it's okay. I promise. It'll be just fine. Please, you need to get yourself under control. Otherwise, you're going to end up shooting down a piece of lightning. It ended up striking and coming very close to hitting Jiro as he fell back. Holding up his arms, his powers kicked on instinctively as cold gusts of wind started to shoot all around them. And at an already drenched Akari, well, safe to say someone was going to be sick or mildly congested in the morning. While Akari was going inside to get herself cleaned up, Jiro found himself in his Iceman form. More specifically, Snowman form, to be specific. He was like a walking Frosty the Snowman. What the? Snow? You got the powers at the infant stage, Logan would say. That's what Bobby used to look like before he was able to get his powers more under control. What? Looking like a giant-ass snowman? What's next gonna happen to me, huh? I'm gonna go to the North Pole and do a Coca-Cola commercial with a polar bear? You know, now that I think about it, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. You definitely need to learn control. Otherwise, you can end up causing the next ice age in this entire house. Although, it is convenient during the summer, and, at least for the most part, during wintertime, you don't have to worry about dressing in bundles. You know, that might not seem so bad. But still, how do I get myself out of this? You've got to focus. Stay calm and imagine the ice just melting away from your body. You know, you're pretty helpful with all of our powers and everything, even though you've never had them. No, I just worked with the people that did. Oh, well, what were they like? Annoying, pain in the asses. Most of the time I couldn't stand any of them. And yet, even still, I was proud to fight with all of them. It was an honor. Jiro felt encouraged by this. As he slowly thought about the ice melting from his body, it would do just that, and Jiro found himself back to normal. He would get the mastery over this power, eventually, and he'd need to, because while the ice had melted, his feet were still frozen to the ground. As for Taiga, she and Ryuji were training, if you could even call it that. Ryuji was just running for his life, shooting out random fire blasts at Taiga, who was effectively good at dodging. She created her psionic plasmid swords and were just swinging them all willy-nilly. That was until Logan came out. Jutting out 3 claws from his left hand, he ended up catching her blade in midair. And what exactly do you call yourself doing? It's called training. What does it look like, old man? Old man. I honestly can't even argue with that. But still, this old man knows a thing or two. Uh, I'm really sorry about that. It won't... You don't have to apologize. She's got spunk. Got a lot of fire. More so than you. I'll take it from here. Logan would create his claws on both hands as he got into a defensive stance. He wanted to see just how good Taiga really was with a sword. He ushered for the girl to come forth, and she had no problem bringing the ferocity. The girl was quick on her feet, fast, and her perception had only gotten stronger ever since her powers had awakened. Taiga was by no means a master with the blade or of the sword, but she was good at swinging it, and, well, you could say that any skill she did gain, it just came with the territory. But still, she was raw, moving only on pure instinct. But her instincts were sharp. They were actually able to leave her in a few keen moments, allowing her to almost get the drop on Logan. But when you say almost, it was only because he wanted to see if she'd take the bait so easily. You know how to swing a sword, but you don't know how to use it. Oh, please, I'll be able to hit you in no time. With a few swift kicks to the gut and then to the face, Taiga was sent flying back. She recreated the sword once again and came back running once more, looking to swing and try to get in a shot. You just throw it around all willy-nilly, not even trying to have any tact or finesse. If you really want to know how to use a sword, then I'll teach you. Otherwise, you're not going to get very far on that. You've got the instincts of a swordsman. I'll give it to you. But it'll take a lot more than just instincts to win a fight. Logan would then retract all but one of his claws, using that effectively to give himself a handicap. With one arm behind his back and with only one claw, he continued matching Taiga strike for strike, before eventually, as she raised her arms over her head, Logan would bring the claw up to her throat. If I had to count in total, there were at least 13 different ways I could have killed you. Each time when you left yourself completely wide open. Your swings are too broad. You need to be able to keep your center. Otherwise, you're never going to get very far, especially against me. This was definitely a shot to Taiga's ego, to say the least, but still, in a weird way, the girl was intrigued by this, and Ryuji could see the look in her eyes. She had the look of someone who had been knocked down, but she wasn't out. It was the ferocity of the tiger, for which her pun name, the palm-top tiger, had been given. She didn't know when to quit. She didn't know when to give up. Logan would then set his sights on Ryuji, as he wanted to see how the boy was progressing using his firepower. He could shoot out some fire from his hands, a couple fireballs here and there. The boy obviously didn't have any refined technique, and even more so, the flames didn't really seem all that hot. Felt kind of like a warmer, not really much of a fire. You've got a lot more power inside of you, but you're not really bringing it to the forefront, which is good. You're cautious, you're careful of your surroundings, and you observe everything. And for that, it'll get you far. But if you keep holding back, you'll never be able to reach your full potential. But I don't think I want to reach my full potential, sir. Well, I mean, it's not like we're going to have these powers forever. I don't really see the point in doing all this training. I mean, I get it. You want to try to use us to get your friend's powers back. And if I can help, I'm fine with it. But still, I don't really have a desire to gain this massive amount of firepower or to just, gain power in general. I just don't really think I need it. If I need it for any reason, He looked over to Taiga, who was still practicing. I just want to be able to stand next to her. That's all I want. And that's a fine goal to have. But if you want to stand beside a girl like her, you're going to have to stand on her level. As they say, tigers and dragons are supposed to be on equal footing. How can you do so if she's continuing to ascend and you get left in the dust? Gaining power doesn't have to be for a selfish reason. Wanting to better and improve yourself, there's no fault in wanting to get higher in that regard. And if you truly want to, then you need to stop holding yourself back. You have a fire inside of you, Ryuji. A true fire. The fire of a dragon. And it's up to you on whether or not you're going to let it out. In the meantime, Yukana and Junichi, they were enjoying their training. Junichi was slowly learning how to self-ascend and fly. He had gone from 5 feet to 10 feet to 15 feet in the air. Although as he slowly ascended to get higher and higher, he suddenly realized that in the heat of the moment, he kind of had a fear of heights. He didn't like to go up too far, and when he lost focus, he ended up falling back to the ground. As for Yukana, she was getting more used to her, dazzler powers, if you could call them that. Pyrotechnic energy plasmids, to be more specific, is what they were. For her, she felt like she was just shooting off fireworks from her fingertips. They were cute. They were beautiful to her. She enjoyed doing it, and she liked it. She didn't really see any harm. You can actually go a lot farther. They could be a lot stronger if you want them to be. And you can bend them to your will. I can do that? Wow, this tote's awesome. Hey, Junichi, it looks like I got a lot more power inside. That's great, babe. Really, really great. Okay, I can do this. All right, 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 30 feet, 35 feet. Holy crap. The ground's getting farther and farther away. No, just keep flapping. Just keep flapping. Flap, flap. That's it. Yeah. Hey, I think I'm getting this. And wow, everything looks so peaceful from up here. Huh, what's that? Oh, it's a flock of pigeons. Yeah. Junichi tried to wave to the pigeons, only for the pigeons to all smack into him. Some pigeons leaving a rather nasty surprise as he went plummeting back down to the ground once more. And you're going to need focus. Logan plucked him in the head. You're supposed to be able to move as fast as a jet. But if you get too distracted, you end up crashing back down to the ground. So you'll have to work on that. Yes, sir. Can I... Ugh. Yeah, go take a bath. Yes, sir. Out of everyone who was training, there were only 2 that weren't with the rest of the group. Well, technically 3. First, there was Sakuta. It was easy to see that he got Quicksilver's powers. Good old Pedro. The boy was able to move pretty fast, but controlling it, well, that was a lot easier said than done. So for now, he was just running around the countryside. He figured he could come back at any time, so for now, he was just enjoying the free range. It was Mai and Hori. They were both being instructed by someone else. They were sitting in a room with the professor. The 2 girls in particular, they had the power of telepathy, empath, telekinesis. In that regard, they were going to also need the help of a telepath, and that was where the professor came in. The 2 girls listened attentively as the professor explained. Using your powers puts you in a unique position, far different from most. From what I've been able to gauge, You developed the powers known best by Emma Frost. And as for you, Miss Hori, you gained the power of Jean Grey, also known as the Phoenix of our team. Telepathy is a rather tricky subject. It's not as simple as just looking at someone and reading into their minds. You see, on a fundamental level, everyone has some level of resistance to a telepath. It's up to you to have the strength to match and surpass it, but to also have the delicate touch to not harm anyone's mind, to do irreversible damage. It's also a great burden that is now thrusted upon your shoulders. But I will guide you through it. As they all closed their minds and began to meditate, the professor would open his mind to theirs. In a way, they found themselves in another plane of existence. On the inside, it looked like a library of sorts, where the professor, instead of using a wheelchair, was walking around freely. "Where are we?" Hori asked. "You could say that this is the inner workings of my mind. At least, this is how I choose to display it. When it comes to the mental state, the mind is its own plane of existence. In your mind, you are the master of your own world, a master of your memories and how you perceive them. We have the unique ability to peer even beyond that, to go to places that no man may never truly be allowed to go. But how do you know when to and when not to use the power?" Hori asked. "I mean, isn't it wrong to just peer into other people's memories without permission?" "It is, and that's why you should never do it. It's only when it's absolutely needed. But your powers go even beyond mind. I can only peer into the mind, but you can control things on the outside with it. You both have great potential, and I see it in the both of you. I believe that you'll surpass even my expectations." As they continued walking along, Mai would notice something. There were doors within the professor's mindscape, doors that led to different memories, knowledge of certain things. There were some doors that were locked. Some locks were stronger than others. Although the professor was a master at this, so it was obvious that he wasn't going to show them anything that he didn't want them to see. Although still, it got Mai to wonder, what could the professor have to hide? Was it something from his past? A form of trauma? Potential secret? Who knew? Whatever it was something that she'd keep to herself for now. By the time the end of the day came, the kids were beyond exhausted. Ryuji was in the kitchen cooking the evening supper, with Akari, Hori to help him out, along with Sakuta and Mai respectively. Having extra hands in the kitchen was able to help push things along a lot faster. As everyone ate and had their conversations in various groups and amongst themselves, Logan would be sitting in the professor's office. "So, what did you think about their first day?" "They're not bad. They got potential. I could see them doing a lot of great things, but that'll all come in time. What about you?" "I've had Cerebro here with me for a while. I've been using it for the last 2 days, trying to get a pin on where Wanda could be. How do we know she hasn't wound up in some other part of the Earth? Some other hemisphere? Her presence is strong in this country, but where it will appear and manifest, I do not know. Everything's hazy, cloudy. I can't really perceive anything at the moment. But there's one thing I do know. She is here. And it's just, what's going to happen, Professor? Let's assume we find her. and we pull her from wherever it is she's been hiding. What exactly do we do next? We have to get her to reverse what's been done. To cure the children, of course. And then what? Sir, people who lost their powers are going well into a decade without them. For the most part, they live happy, ordinary lives. I don't think we should force them to. I don't want to force them. They simply deserve the choice, Logan. The choice to decide whether or not they want their powers back. And who does and doesn't get them. We'll make sure that they go to the right hands. Those who are trying to cause trouble before, we'll make sure that they don't... Professor, you're crossing a dangerous line. We don't get to decide who does and doesn't get their powers back. Quite honestly, I don't think we should even be tapping into it to begin with. Right now, our focus is to find Wanda and to cure those kids. We don't do anything else until those objectives are met. I know that better than anyone, Logan. I don't want any harm to come to these children. I am trying to help them. Why can't you see that? I see it very well, Professor. And I have also seen that sometimes what you call help can often lead to some rather negative consequences. So for now, I'm just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page here. We've already taken these kids from their home. We've already screwed with the minds of their parents, and we've already made them give up so much. I'm not having any of these kids die on my watch, especially because we got them involved in something they had nothing to do with. I'll be damned if I let that happen to them. I agree with you, Logan. And I assure you, nothing is going to happen to these kids. I would not allow it. Good. As long as we're on the same page. Logan would wish the professor a good night before he headed to his room with a six-pack. It wasn't that he had ill will against the professor, no. But he knew better than what anyone else would think. Sometimes people used to think that the professor and Magneto, that they were so different. But when you look deeper, more often than not, they were two men who were on the same side of the coin, who believed in the common good being the only good. But thinking like that, it's what leads to negative consequences. And it was because of that Logan had been keeping a close eye on the professor for all these years. He loved the man truly, and he had nothing but respect for him. But he couldn't always respect his decisions. No. This time around, things were going to be different. They were going to do things the right way. And if anyone stepped out of line, including the professor, especially the professor, then Logan would stop him by any means necessary. And that was a promise. This concludes X-Men: The Next Generation. What if Wolverine trained the X-Men? Season 1, Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we'll continue with X-Men: The Next Generation. What if Wolverine trained the X-Men? Season 1, Part 5. But that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.